In this video, we go over why Nate Diaz is the perfect opposition for Jake Paul in a potential boxing match.
Nate Diaz, who there was speculation that he would be fighting Jake Paul maybe after his UFC contract is up, and then I wonder, that's an interesting fight and how it plays out.
That'd be such an interesting fight because, of course, Nate Diaz is striking is super elite. You know, his boxing is amazing, and you know he said himself, I should be in the boxing ring, not the cage. Like, you know, he's a great boxer. And it'd be so interesting to see him against Jake Paul because you know we saw how Jake Paul did against Woodley. The first time around, not even the fact that that's happening again is unreal in itself. But we'll get to that in a bit. You know, we saw how he did against Woodley, and you know he was able to outbox Woodley, and obviously got caught. I don't think Nate Diaz would be able to catch Jake Paul like Woodley did, of course, but you know it would be an interesting fight. I definitely don't see Jake Paul stopping Nate Diaz. I mean, like,
no way. I don't see it as well.
No
Since
chance. Nate Diaz is as tough as they come, man. He's tough as nails.
He's like a zombie. He just keeps coming forward.
Yeah, and I don't know if Nate would be able to stop Jake Paul. Maybe with the volume, maybe with the, you know.
Maybe.
But it would be a tough fight. It's very hard to call. But, you know, Nate Diaz does have one fight left on his contract. So, you know, the potential of that fight is definitely there. And it really makes sense for that to happen because, you know, Nate Diaz has said he wanted to box for so long. And if he gets if his contract with the UFC expires, then it's definitely possible because Jake Paul and him have had history. You know, they've had back and forth since even, like, the Nate Robinson fight. You know, so...
And I kind of want to talk about, like, also the magnitude of that fight and how it kind of compares to Jake Paul's previous fights.
Huge mega fight.
Yeah, I definitely see it being, well, for sure, the biggest fight to date for Jake Paul. Like, the numbers aren't too clear about, like, the Ben Askren fight and Nate Robinson. I'm pretty sure the first Tyron Woodley fight did around, like, 500K buys. This would probably get, like, who knows, probably...
This would do
800K to a million,
well.
Maybe.
Yeah,
it might be a stretch, maybe. It depends.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say because, you know, Jake Paul in his own right has become such a big star, but Nate Diaz is one of the biggest stars in the UFC. You know, such a huge draw. The Diaz brothers are, you know, they're as tough as they come, and they're as popular as they come. You know, they're super popular, super famous, and you know they have the skills to back it up. It would be so interesting to see that fight against Jake Paul, and it would be such a tough fight to call because, you know, Diaz, of course, such a great technical striker, but Jake Paul has been boxing for a couple of years now. You know, he has you know the decent skills for a couple of years in, and he's only been focusing on boxing. That's the difference. You know, Nate obviously hasn't only been focusing on boxing throughout his UFC career, but he has boxed. You know, he does boxing, so it's hard to say.
And just, it would be interesting to see how the volume of Nate matches up against Jake's style, since it could be possible that Nate could maybe even, like, break Jake down, or maybe Jake is able to like, counter that out. So it's an interesting matchup just for...
And think about the back and forth of potential of that fight, you know? What they'd say, how they'd build it up. That would, like, just be such a crazy fight, and the trash talk would be nuts, and you know, a lot of people don't like what Jake Paul's doing in boxing, but in my opinion, it's good for the sport. And I think a fight with Nate Diaz would be huge, and would if he was able to get past Nate Diaz, you know, that really show, like, you know, maybe he's not fighting Tommy Fury, who's a legitimate boxer, I guess you could say, with 7-0, but Nate Diaz is such a good boxer, especially in the UFC, and he's not like well past his prime. Like, you know, he hasn't. Obviously, he's not in his prime.
Yeah, he has a lot of mileage, you know, but he's definitely...
Yeah, but he's not 40 years old. He's not as old as Tyron Woodley. You know, he's not, like, retired as well. So, I mean, Tyron Woodley wasn't retired necessarily, but he did just get cut from UFC.
Yeah.
So, it would be interesting.
And I feel like depending on how they market this fight, it could be, like, really big. Like, if they do it right, like, this fight could be huge. Especially, like, if they, like, bring in how Jake has kind of done with the Woodley fight and the Ben fight, kind of bringing in the MMA world as well. And if they can leverage that and when it's against Nate as well, that could make it even bigger.
And Jake Paul's been riling up the MMA community for a while now. He's been, making so much noise in that scene, especially when he started when he was fighting Ben Askren. He beat him, of course, started chirping to everyone you could think of. Obviously, when he beat Woodley as well, he calls out all these guys in the UFC.
Yeah, and also involving Dana White into the mix.
Yeah, he's called out everyone from Conor McGregor to Michael Bisping to Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, all these guys, and it would be interesting to see how Jake Paul would really do against, one of these guys that everyone in the MMA world would for sure think would be Jake Paul. But, Jake Paul still has a lot to prove in terms of his boxing ability. I think a lot might get answered in the second Woodley fight because, he's already been shown to hurt. Woodley's already been shown to hurt Jake Paul. So if he could manage to beat Woodley decisively in this one, maybe even stop him, that would show, a huge progress for him, and that'd be very good for him in terms of his boxing career.
Yeah.
This clip is taken directly from the Punch Plan podcast. You can check the episode out right now on your screen, or you can go in the link in the description and stream it on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.